Hello everyone. My name is Linda and I want to tell you a story that happened to my friend Lauren. I named this story as, "At my wedding, Mom raised her glass and said, 'I'm getting married soon too, and I want you to leave the house immediately.' So I postponed my honeymoon, contacted my lawyer, and sent her an eviction notice from my house. Well, let's go." So this whole mess started on what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I'm Lauren, 26 years old, and I was sitting at my own wedding reception thinking everything was perfect. My dress looked amazing, my husband Jake looked handsome in his tux, and all our friends and family were having a great time. Let me back up a bit. My dad died when I was 20, right in the middle of college. Heart attack, totally unexpected. He left me our family house in his will. It's worth about 800 grand now, nice place in a good neighborhood. After Dad died, I had to transfer to evening classes and get a job because Mom never worked a day in her life. Dad always handled all the bills and everything. So suddenly I'm 20 years old, trying to finish school, working, and paying for everything: mortgage, utilities, groceries, even giving Mom spending money. It was rough, but I managed. Mom moved into that house right after she married Dad, so she's been there almost 30 years. She's redecorated it a bunch of times, picked out most of the furniture, really made it her own. But legally, it's mine. Dad inherited it from his grandfather and left it to me. For the past 6 months, Jake and I had been living together in a rented apartment while we planned the wedding. We figured after we got married, we'd move into my house with Mom. Jake's a good guy, super supportive. His family is great too. His parents are way more normal than mine, and his sister Emma runs some kind of lifestyle blog where she posts videos about everything. Anyway, back to the wedding. The reception was going perfectly. Everyone was laughing, dancing, having drinks. The food was good, the music was good, everything was exactly how we planned it. Then it came time for the toasts. Mom stood up first with her champagne glass. She looked really nice that day, had gotten her hair done and everything. She started off normal enough. "I want to congratulate my beautiful daughter Lauren," she said, smiling at me. "I love you so much, and I'm so happy for you and Jake. You two are perfect together." Everyone was clapping and I was feeling all warm and fuzzy. Then she kept going. "But I also have some exciting news to share with everyone today," Mom continued. "I've decided I'm not too old to give up on myself yet. I want to start my life with a clean slate and fix my personal life. I've met a wonderful man named Robert, and we're getting married next month." The whole room erupted in applause. I was shocked but happy for her. Good for Mom, right? She deserved to find love again after Dad. But then she held up her hand for quiet and kept talking. "That's not all," she said, still smiling. "I think the best gift Lauren and I could give ourselves is to start building our lives separately from each other. We both need our own space now." I figured she was about to say she was moving out so Jake and I could have the house. Made sense, right? New husband, new life, fresh start somewhere else. "So I've decided," Mom announced, "that the best thing would be for Lauren to give up the house. I want to keep it for myself because I've put so much effort and time into making it a home. Lauren and Jake are young, they can easily save up money for their own place." The entire reception hall went dead silent. Even the DJ stopped the music. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone was staring at me, waiting to see how I'd react. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. I stood up slowly, my legs shaking. "That's complete nonsense," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "That house is mine. Dad left it to me in his will. You have no rights to my property." Mom's face got red but she kept that fake smile plastered on. "Well, technically yes, the house legally belongs to Lauren," she said to the crowd like she was explaining something to children. "But I've lived there for almost 30 years. I moved in right after I married her father. I've renovated it several times, picked out all the furniture. I gave birth to Lauren in that house and raised her there. She should understand that it would only be fair to let me keep it. I think all our guests here would agree with me. She looked around expectantly. Only 2 people clapped, her sister Carol and her Aunt Dorothy. That was it, everyone else just sat there looking uncomfortable. I will never do that, I said firmly. Dad left me that house. It's mine. That's when Mom lost it completely. She started screaming at me right there in front of everyone. You're so selfish, Lauren, you're just like your father. Well, I'll never let you into my house again. I'm changing all the locks tonight. Then she stormed out of the reception hall, leaving everyone sitting there in shock. My perfect wedding was ruined. Jake's family immediately came over to comfort me. His mom Sandra hugged me and told me everything would be okay. His dad Michael said Mom was way out of line. Emma was already pulling out her phone, probably recording everything for her blog. I put on a brave face and smiled for the rest of the reception. I wasn't going to let Mom ruin my wedding completely. But inside I was dying. How could she do this to me on my wedding day? The next morning I woke up in the hotel room feeling like garbage. Jake was already awake, sitting on the edge of the bed looking worried. How are you feeling? He asked, rubbing my back. Like my whole world just got turned upside down, I said. But I'm not giving up without a fight. That house is mine and I'm going to fight for it to the end. Jake nodded. I'm with you 100%. We'll figure this out together. We packed up our stuff and drove straight to Mom's house. Well, my house technically. When we got there, I couldn't believe what I saw. She had actually done it, all the locks were different. I tried my key and it didn't work. I knocked on the door and Mom's voice came from inside. Lauren, I already packed all your things and put them in the garage. Take them and leave. Mom, this is ridiculous, I yelled through the door. Open up so we can talk about this like adults. There's nothing to talk about, she shouted back. This is my house now, go away. I was so angry I was shaking. Jake put his arm around me. What do we do now? I asked him. Well, Jake said calmly, our apartment is paid through the end of the month. Let's get your stuff and take it there. Then we'll figure out our next move. There wasn't much of my stuff in the garage. Most of my things were already at our apartment since we'd been living there for 6 months. Just some old clothes, photo albums, a few books, stuff like that. We loaded it all into Jake's truck and drove back to our rental. That afternoon, Jake's mom Sandra called us. How are you two doing? Did your mother really change the locks? Yeah, I said, she won't even let us in to talk. Well, you're both welcome to stay with us as long as you need, Sandra said. And I've already found you a good lawyer who handles family property disputes. His name is David Martinez. He can help you fight for what's rightfully yours. I felt so grateful, at least Jake's family had my back, even if my own mother was being crazy. A couple days later we moved our stuff to Jake's parents' house. It felt weird living with my in-laws, but they were really nice about everything. Sandra made up the guest room for us and Michael said we could stay as long as we needed. The worst part was having to cancel our honeymoon to Hawaii. We were supposed to leave 3 days after the wedding, but instead of lying on a beach drinking cocktails, I was dealing with lawyers and legal papers. An $800,000 house was definitely more important than a vacation, but it still sucked. I met with David Martinez the next week. He was this older guy with gray hair who seemed to really know his stuff. This should be pretty straightforward, he told me. The house is legally yours, left to you in your father's will. Your mother has no claim to it. We'll try to resolve this without going to court, but we need to start with an official eviction notice. Eviction notice? I said, that sounds so harsh. I know it's difficult when it's family, David said. But legally, your mother is now just a tenant living in your property without permission. We have to treat it like any other landlord-tenant situation. He drew up the eviction notice giving Mom 60 days to move out. I took it to the house myself and put it in the mailbox, then sent her a copy by email too. I felt sick doing it, but what choice did I have? A few days later, David called me with bad news. Your mother's hired her own lawyer, he said. James Wilson. He contacted me to say she's prepared to fight this in court. My heart sank. This was really happening. My own mother was going to sue me for my own house. What do we need to do? I asked. Start gathering evidence, David said. Bank statements showing you've been paying all the bills. Documentation of your father's will. Anything that proves your ownership and responsibility for the property. I spent the next week digging through old files and bank records. It was actually pretty easy to prove my case. Ever since Dad died 6 years ago, every single bill had been paid from my account. Mortgage, utilities, internet, property taxes, everything. Mom had never contributed a dime. I also found all Dad's old paperwork showing how he inherited the house from his grandfather back in the 1990s. The chain of ownership was crystal clear, grandfather to Dad to me. Mom's name had never been on any deed or title. This is actually good for us, David said when I brought him all the documents. You've got a very strong case. Your mother's lawyer is going to have a hard time arguing she has any legal right to the property. 2 weeks later, David called with an update. Wilson contacted me with an offer, he said. Your mother is willing to share the house. She wants you to transfer half the ownership to her, and you can both live there together. Absolutely not, I said immediately, it's my house. She can live there as my guest if she wants, but I'm not giving her half of an $800,000 property. I figured you'd say that, David said. I'll let Wilson know we're rejecting the offer. A month later, we had another meeting with Mom's lawyer. This time Wilson had different news. My client has recently remarried, he announced. Her new husband has moved into the property. They're now willing to sell the house and split the proceeds 50-50 with Lauren. I couldn't believe the nerve. Now Mom wanted to sell my house and keep half the money? Over my dead body, I told David, that house belongs to me and I'm not selling it. The whole thing was giving me constant stress. Here I was, supposed to be enjoying being a newlywed, and instead I was fighting my own mother in court over property that was rightfully mine. Jake was being amazing through all of it, but I could tell the stress was getting to him too. The next day I woke up to my phone buzzing like crazy. When I checked it, I saw that Mom had posted something on Facebook. My stomach dropped when I read it. My own daughter is trying to kick me out of my own home, she wrote. This is so unfair. I've lived in this house for most of my life. It's not right that she wants to throw me out on the street. Please help me make her see reason. Maybe if enough people tell her how wrong this is, she'll change her mind. I was furious. She was trying to turn everyone against me on social media. But when I scrolled through the comments, I was shocked at what I saw. Are you crazy? Wrote one of her old friends. You're the one trying to kick your daughter out of her house. She inherited it from her father. I can't believe you caused a scene at your own daughter's wedding over a house, another person commented. Then I saw that Emma, Jake's sister, had posted something in the comments. It was a video from our wedding reception showing Mom's entire toast and announcement. Emma had filmed the whole thing for her blog. Here's the actual video of what happened at Lauren's wedding, Emma wrote. Judge for yourselves who's in the wrong here. After that, Mom got absolutely destroyed in the comments. Person after person was calling her out for trying to steal her daughter's inheritance and ruining her wedding day. The video was getting shared all over the place. By the end of the day, Mom had deleted her entire Facebook account. I felt kind of bad that she was getting roasted online, but honestly, she brought it on herself. Meanwhile, the 60-day eviction period was running out. Jake and I drove by the house a few times to see if there were any signs that Mom was preparing to move. What we saw instead made me sick to my stomach. Mom and her new husband Robert were repainting the outside walls of the house. They'd changed the color from white to this ugly yellow that I hated. Even worse, Robert had completely demolished the garage that Dad built with his own hands back when I was a kid. They're destroying the property, I told David when I called him. Can they do that? Absolutely not, David said, that's criminal damage to your property. You need to document everything and call the police. I called some appraisers who came out and estimated the damage at $15,000. The garage demolition, the unauthorized paint job, some landscaping they'd messed up. Then I filed a police report for illegal destruction of property. When the 60 days were finally up, David, Jake, and I drove to the house together. Emma came with us too because she'd asked if she could film the eviction for her blog. I wasn't really comfortable with it, but Jake said it might be good to have video evidence of everything. As expected, Mom and Robert wouldn't open the door when we knocked. I had to call the police to force them to let us in. When the cops arrived, Mom finally opened up. She looked terrible. Her hair was a mess and she'd been crying. For a second I almost felt sorry for her, almost. You don't have to do this, Lauren, she said, we can work something out. You had 60 days to work something out, I replied, now you need to leave. I started gathering Mom's clothes and throwing them into big garbage bags. Jake carried the bags outside while Emma ran around with her camera, live streaming everything. Oh my God, you guys, this is insane, Emma was saying to her phone. We're at like 5,000 viewers already and the likes are going crazy. Mom started crying and screaming that she wasn't going anywhere. Then she clutched her chest and said I was giving her a heart attack. You're killing me, Lauren, she wailed. I'm having chest pains, call an ambulance. I rolled my eyes but called 911 anyway. When the paramedics arrived, they checked Mom's blood pressure and said it was slightly elevated but she was fine. Classic manipulation tactic, one of the EMTs whispered to me. We see this kind of thing all the time in family disputes. While this was happening, Emma was still filming and providing commentary. Guys, the drama is unreal right now, she was saying to her camera. Lauren's mom is literally faking a heart attack to try to stay in the house. This is better than reality TV. I just wanted it all to be over. Finally, Mom and Robert called a moving company. The movers showed up and started loading their stuff into a truck. As they were leaving, Mom stopped in front of me. You'll regret this, Lauren, she said, her face twisted with anger, I curse you. You're no longer my daughter, you're dead to me. Those words hit me harder than I expected. Even after everything she'd put me through, hearing my own mother say I was dead to her was devastating. After they drove away, Jake put his arm around me. Are you okay? He asked. I think so, I said. Should we sue her for the garage and the paint job? Jake shook his head, let's just move on. We'll build a new garage, bigger and better than the old one. I don't want to waste any more time or energy on this. That night we moved into my house. It felt weird being there without Mom after all those years. The place looked different with all her furniture and decorations gone. But it was mine again, finally. I blocked Mom's phone number and deleted her email address. I was done. After what she'd put me through, I never wanted to see or hear from her again. A few weeks later, Mom's sister Carol called me. Lauren, you should be ashamed of yourself, she said. Your mother is living in terrible conditions now because of you. She can barely afford rent. You're an ungrateful daughter. Aunt Carol, I said calmly, Mom should be ashamed of herself for trying to steal my house. And you should be ashamed too for supporting her. Don't ever call me again. I hung up and blocked her number too. Most of our relatives actually supported me once they heard the full story. Even some of Mom's own family members said she was wrong. But I didn't care about taking sides anymore. I just wanted to move on with my life. 2 years passed, Jake and I settled into the house and made it our own. We renovated the kitchen, built a new garage like Jake promised, and planted a garden. Life was good. Then I found out I was pregnant. Jake and I were over the moon about the pregnancy. We'd been trying for about 6 months, and when I finally saw those 2 pink lines on the test, I started crying happy tears. Jake picked me up and spun me around the kitchen, both of us laughing and crying at the same time. We're going to be parents, he kept saying. I can't believe we're actually going to be parents. We called his parents right away to share the news. Sandra started crying on the phone and said she couldn't wait to be a grandmother. Michael was thrilled too. They came over that same evening with champagne for Jake and sparkling cider for me, and we celebrated in our dining room. "This baby is going to be so lucky to grow up in this beautiful house," Sandra said, looking around at all the improvements we'd made over the past 2 years. The house really did look amazing now. We'd painted every room, updated all the fixtures, and completely redone the kitchen with white cabinets and granite countertops. The new garage Jake built was twice the size of the old one, with space for both our cars plus storage. We'd even put in a vegetable garden where Mom's old flower beds used to be. I was about 3 months along when something unexpected happened. I was checking my email one morning when I saw a message from an address I didn't recognize. But when I opened it, my blood ran cold. "My dearest Lauren," it began, "I hope this message finds you well. I recently learned through mutual friends that you are expecting your first child. Congratulations, sweetheart. I know this is wonderful news and I am so happy for you and Jake." It was from Mom. Somehow she'd found out about my pregnancy and created a new email account to contact me. "I think it's time we put our past disagreements behind us," the email continued. "I understand that emotions ran high during that difficult period, and perhaps we both said things we didn't mean. But now that you're going to be a mother yourself, I hope you can understand how much family means." I felt sick reading it. After 2 years of silence, after cursing me and saying I was dead to her, now she wanted to reconcile because I was pregnant? "I am going to be a grandmother," she wrote. "That means everything to me. I want to help you raise your child and be part of their life. I have so much love to give and so much experience to share. Please let's start over with a clean slate. We are family, and family should stick together." The email went on for 3 more paragraphs, talking about how she'd learned from her mistakes and wanted to make things right. She said she'd been thinking about me every day and missed me terribly. She even mentioned that she and Robert had separated, though she didn't give any details about that. "I know I hurt you, and I'm truly sorry," she concluded. "But I'm hoping that the joy of this new baby can bring us back together. Please consider giving your mother another chance. I promise things will be different this time. I love you so much, Lauren. Please don't shut me out of my grandchild's life." I stared at the email for a long time, feeling a mix of anger and sadness. Part of me, a tiny part, wondered if maybe she really had changed. But then I remembered everything she'd put me through. The wedding disaster, the house theft attempt, the legal battles, the social media drama, the property damage, the fake heart attack, the final curse where she disowned me. Jake found me sitting at the computer with tears in my eyes. "What's wrong?" he asked, immediately concerned. I showed him the email. He read it carefully, his jaw getting tighter with each paragraph. "What do you want to do?" he asked when he finished. "I know what I should do," I said. "But part of me wonders if maybe this is a chance to repair things. I mean, she's going to be the baby's grandmother." Jake sat down next to me and took my hands. "Honey, I'll support whatever decision you make," he said. "But think about what she put us through. Think about how she tried to manipulate everyone at our wedding, how she tried to steal your inheritance, how she destroyed your dad's garage out of spite. Do you really think having a baby changes any of that?" He was right. This wasn't about the baby at all. This was about Mom wanting back into my life because she thought a grandchild would give her leverage over me again. She'd probably start making demands about how we raised the kid, insisting on visits to the house she'd tried to steal, maybe even claiming grandparents' rights if things went south again. She didn't apologize for any of the specific things she did, I realized as I read the email again. She just gave this vague, "maybe we both said things we didn't mean" nonsense. She's still not taking responsibility. "Exactly," Jake said, and notice how she mentions being separated from Robert but doesn't explain why. "I bet her new marriage fell apart and now she's lonely and wants back into your life." The more I thought about it, the clearer it became. Mom hadn't changed at all. She was just using my pregnancy as an opportunity to wiggle back into my life. If I let her back in now, What would stop her from pulling the same manipulative garbage again in the future? I thought about our baby growing up. Did I want them to be around someone who had shown such selfishness and cruelty? Did I want them to witness the kind of toxic behavior Mom was capable of? Did I want to constantly worry about what kind of poison she might put in their head about me and Jake? No, I said finally, I'm not doing this. She made her choice 2 years ago when she said I was dead to her. Well, she's dead to me too. I deleted the email without responding. Then I blocked the new email address and added a filter to automatically delete anything from similar addresses. Over the next few months, Mom tried a few more times to contact me. She sent a card to our house that I threw away without opening. She tried calling from different numbers, but I never answered unknown callers. Emma told me Mom had even tried reaching out to her on Instagram, asking her to pass along a message. Emma blocked her immediately. Now I'm 7 months pregnant and we're busy getting the nursery ready. We painted it a soft green since we decided to wait until birth to find out the gender. Jake assembled the crib last weekend and we've been having so much fun picking out tiny clothes and stuffed animals. Sometimes I wonder if I'll regret not letting Mom back into my life. But then I remember everything she put me through, and I know I made the right choice. My child is going to grow up in a home full of love and stability, surrounded by people who actually care about their well-being. Jake's parents are already spoiling their future grandchild Ron. Sandra has knitted enough baby blankets to outfit an entire nursery, and Michael is building a wooden rocking horse in his workshop. This baby is going to have plenty of grandparent love without needing my toxic mother in the picture.